Good afternoon, law nerds. I told you it might not be long. It is 4:27 local mountain time to court, 5:27 here central time. Y'all, there's a verdict. It looks like we've got about maybe 10 minutes until court comes back. I don't know why I'm hearing my own voice. I probably have my stream pulled up somewhere. I don't know where it is, but I will find it. It's always hectic getting live for these things. I have no idea where it's coming from, so give me 1 second to find that and turn it off. Yeah, it's always hectic getting live to try to get all the notifications out everywhere. This looks like the jury was deliberating for about 2 hours. That's a very fast verdict, especially if they have to determine complex damages, which I don't think they could have done in 2 hours because the damages in this case, unless they're finding for Paltrow, are very quick. If they find 50-50, they don't have to go to damages. If they find for Paltrow, it's $1. They don't have to find damages. If they find for Sanderson, that's when you get into this complicated math for damages, making it likely that this verdict is either 50-50 walk away or in favor of Gwyneth Paltrow. So with all, or Paltrow, powwow, I don't know. They've said it a million different ways. Pow pow, I think, is one of the things counsel said. With all of that, I'm going to roll the intro. We're all going to take a big breath. I've got some fizzy water here. Feel like I need something stronger, but I've got a whole bunch of interviews tonight. So water it is. Law nerds, where are you coming in from? What are you watching? Did you think this was fast? A lot of you voted in our poll that this was going to come back this quick. So I think most of you aren't surprised with all of it. Let's ride. Hey there, I'm Emily D. Baker, the internet's go-to legal analyst, breaking down the legal side of the pop culture and entertainment stories we can't stop talking about. I'm a big fan of the cursey words. I've been a licensed attorney for over 17 years, but this is not legal advice. This is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not. Let's get into it. So I have been working on some media answers while I have been trying to eat. So for those of you that voted that this was coming back fast, you are absolutely correct. This is a fast verdict. We now see that the plaintiff, Sanderson, Emily, you don't have your screen share going, is walking into the courtroom. I am going to make sure we have all of the feeds that I want, but plaintiff is now present in court. And we know we're going to get those big feeds that we've been hearing about. I like big feeds, and I cannot lie, we have no volume yet. Well, the plaintiff is at counsel table with his attorneys. I'm sure we will see Paltrow coming in soon. Let me see if any of our other feeds that I prefer are up. A lot of them have not cut to court just yet. Oh, this one did. All right, I'm going to switch feeds to the ones that have the sound that I prefer. And we will see these parties coming up into the courtroom. They were given a 20-minute on-call, which is pretty quick, which means truly it means to me that the parties likely stayed in the courthouse nearby. I don't know if we'll see Gwyneth come into court or if they're going to wait until everyone is assembled and then come into court. I simply don't know. It seems like this feed might be just a few seconds behind where we were, but that's fine. So everybody would have stayed on site to get back into court this quickly. And we're going to leave the court feeds. Again, breaking news. Share this feed with a friend. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Share the feed. We are waiting for this verdict to come in. I won't be surprised at this point if it is favorable to Paltrow, given how quickly this verdict has come back. And given that her damages were fixed, damage calculations take quite a long time. I didn't even have a chance to finish my reels that I needed to do or upload them to YouTube. It's just, I'm so tired. I'm so ready. I'm ready for this trial to be done. It came so quickly on the heels of the Murdaugh trial, law nerds, that I am I'm ready for it. I'm just ready for it. It's like, are we there yet? Have we survived? Have we made it? I will be taking tomorrow off. Hopefully. That's not true. Oh, that's not true. Am I doing Someone tell me if I'm doing TV at 3 o'clock this morning. I probably am because there's a verdict. So I'm probably doing I'm probably doing 3 a.m. I think I said yes to that. Okay, so I'm going to rest at some point tomorrow, and I'm going to share with all of you. Did we get to 20,000 likes on the other video? Oh, you guys are telling me we are. Okay, let me go double check, because I said we were going to do a lot more memberships if we got to 20,000 likes on the other video. Let me see. Oh, it's at 21,000 likes. Y'all did it. Hold on. Let me sort this out. This is way fun. Let me go ahead and do that. It's time to check out. Look, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So it's closing time in court, man. And we're going to have to.
I don't have any preference, so it's up to your clients.
No.
Are we not letting the press in, or what's the purpose of this moment?
I assumed everybody was already in. You can
What's
go
the
ahead and let them
purpose
in.
of this moment?
Oh, he's just going through the guidelines? Okay.
What's the purpose of this moment? Owens being all
And just to
Owensy.
verify with the court TV and with the AP reporter, or the AP photographer, if you could listen to me for just a minute.
I'm listening.
No.
Sorry, Your Honor.
I know this goes without saying.
The Lawnards were chatting.
Pictures of the jury.
That goes without saying.
Thank you.
Paltrow is present in court. Let's make it rain memberships. Owens is just like, what is the purpose of this moment? Though I'm going to start saying that when people ask me for meetings, and I'm not sure what the meeting is for. What's the purpose of this moment?
They're just being briefed right now.
Who's being briefed? This is going to be a long night, you guys, because we're going to have press conferences after this.
I assumed everybody was already in. You can go ahead and let them in. Oh, he's just going through the guidelines? Okay. Thank you.
So, all right.
And just to verify with the court TV and with the AP.
I'm getting 2 feeds. Give me 1 second to figure out where that's coming from on my end. It's probably coming from me screwing things up. Where do I have another feed coming from?
Jody of the jury.
I have multiple feeds. There we go.
Okay.
There we go. They are starting to let the audience into court now. So we see the audience coming in. I don't know who the dude in the black coat is. He keeps coming in and out with Sanderson. And this feed is just a handful of seconds behind. So we are now seeing people let back into court. I'm going to leave myself a little smaller because watching the comings and goings in court is very interesting. The gentleman that comes in and out with Sanderson, I don't know who that is. So we will see. Law and Lumber, good to see you. If you ever give me what is the purpose of this moment, we're no longer friends. Oh, it would only be done with sass. Rob, don't you worry. What is the purpose of this moment is kind of funny. I love that the lawyers are having to push in with everybody else. Do you think people are like, hey, what do you guys think the verdict's going to be? I imagine they are. So chat, here we are. Remember, this jury had a fuck ton of questions they had to answer. So the questions the jury has to answer are, who is liable? If they get to no one is liable, you stop there. Who is responsible? Then you start getting into the apportionment and damages. If you're not apportioning damages because you found no one liable, this goes much faster. So that is what we are doing.
We've got everyone in here that wants to come in. If you could be seated, and I'd like to just say a few things before we call the jury in.
Fantastic.
There is a verdict in the
Decorum.
case. I think you've all been told that. Before the jury enters, I just want to say a few things that I say in every case. The court appreciates that this has been a long and difficult trial for the parties.
It's 8 days.
And
not be dramatic. We just spent
counsel.
6 weeks in North Carolina,
And
South Carolina.
that emotions may be running high.
Are you guys anxious,
The court reminds
nervous? How are you
everyone
feeling?
that there should be no outward reaction
No.
when the verdict is read.
We can have outward reactions.
And that these proceedings are not over until the court has been adjourned.
Yeah, don't react.
Most importantly, and regardless of the verdict, the jury has sacrificed more than 8 days of their time to serve, and they are entitled to be shown the same courtesy and respect that they have been shown throughout these proceedings. I want to remind the people that are all here that there are strict orders that are in place concerning the use of phones.
Yeah, pull out your phone. The bailiff will
cameras,
tackle you.
recording devices, unless you've been approved, and there are only 2 people in here that have been approved for capturing anything by video, by audio, or by still, you should not use your cell phone or any other device that might capture those things.
Waiting for a jury is always like nerve-sighted. It's always like,
Thank you.
What are they going to do?
Ready for the jury?
What's weird to me is I feel about the same way I do when I was waiting for a verdict in my own cases. It's kind of the same, like, what's going to happen next? It is unlike anything else.
And I have been impressed with how well everyone has been throughout this proceeding.
Oh, no, they're well behaved, but they're not well. They're all sick as shit, Your Honor. These are some germy attorneys. They are all sick, but they have done a very good job. The audience has only been told once that they need to maintain decorum, which we saw as the Depp Heard case wore on. We saw a lot more requests for decorum in other places. So I know there are some feeds that are a few seconds ahead of this one. This one has closed captioning and the audio that I prefer, so this is what I'm sticking with. Please, no spoilers if you are seconds ahead watching in multiple places.
There's no use of any recording devices at all.
I appreciate it, chat. We're all in this together. We're all in this together. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you and your understanding. So, and I appreciate the closed captioning and the non-overgained audio. So that's my thought. Those are all my thoughts. Chat, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? Oh, the jury is coming in. Yay, jury. This one is too far behind. Oh, there we go. And now remember, the judge is going to have to review all of the verdicts and all of the verdict forms and make sure that those verdict forms are appropriate. Oh, nope, this feed is way behind. Hold on, you guys. I'm gonna Swift. I overrule myself. Because it is too far behind. So give me 1 second to shift speed here. It's just too far behind. And let me shift feeds. No, what happened? This jumped. The judge is going to review these. Sorry, y'all. Once I started seeing how far behind they were, then I switched.
Thank you. For the record, the jury is now in the courtroom and the parties are present with their attorneys. With the foreperson that the jury has selected, please stand and state your number.
Number 19.
Number 19.
Thank you. Has the jury reached a verdict?
Yeah.
Will you please hand it to the bailiff and the bailiff will bring it to me?
And then the
Thank
judge
you.
is
You may
going
be
to
seated.
review it. Once the judge reviews it. This is nerve-wracking for these parties. And we're finally getting some broader views of this courtroom. You can see where the judge has been looking. That's where his team is and where his team has been sitting.
Thank you. We'll now have the clerk read the verdict.
I'm going to slow this down a little.
Was Gwyneth Paltrow at fault? No. Was Gwyneth Paltrow's fault a cause of Terry Sanderson's harm? Oh, skip that.
There's just no response there.
Okay. Was Terry Sanderson at fault? Yes.
Wow.
Was Terry Sanderson's fault a cause Gwyneth Paltrow's did Terry Sanderson's fault cause Gwyneth Paltrow's harm? Yes.
Paltrow wins.
Comparative fault. What percent of the fault do you assign to Terry Sanderson?
Big deal.
100%.
Wow. 100% at fault.
Damages.
$1.
What amount fairly compensates Gwyneth Paltrow for economic damages?
Gwyneth Paltrow
$1.
wins entirely.
Signed March 30th, 2023.
Thank you.
Gwyneth
So
Paltrow wins
to juror number
entirely.
19, the foreperson, is this your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And the attorneys have asked that I poll the jury.
100%.
So I need to ask each one of you if this is your verdict. This
They're
is not
going
an
to
unusual
poll
thing
the
to happen.
jury.
It happens
This
quite
happens.
often. So
I wonder
number
if they're
16, is this your
unanimous.
verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
They don't have
Thank
to be
you.
unanimous.
Number 11, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Let's see if they are.
Number 8, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Number 2, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
I've already covered number 19. Number 28, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Number 29, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
And number 32, is this your verdict?
Yes, Your Honor.
Unanimous
Thank you.
jury.
So to the attorneys, is there anything further before I discharge the jury?
Nothing for the plaintiff.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me just read you the last jury instruction. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this trial is finished. Thank you for your service. The American system of justice relies on your time and your sound judgment, and you have been generous with both. You served justice by your fair and impartial decision. I hope you found the experience rewarding. You may now talk about this case with anyone you like. You may be contacted by the press or by the lawyers.
They probably will
You
be.
do not have to talk to them or
She
with
must be
anyone else,
Very relieved.
but you may.
Very,
The choice
very
is entirely
relieved.
yours. I turn now to the lawyers and to the press
This is a
and ask
very
them to honor your
emotional
wishes
moment, I'm
if
sure,
you
for
say that
these
you do not want
parties.
to talk about the case. If you do decide to talk about the case, please respect the privacy of your fellow jurors. The confidences that they may have shared with you while deliberating are not yours to share with others. Again, thank you for your service.
A
You may now
big,
retire.
big
And if everybody else would please
win.
remain here, we've got some things to do.
All right, jury.
The court is going to have matters to put on the record. We are going to stay here for them. In the celebrity cases we have watched on this channel, we have often seen them feel vindicated that their
May be
side was
seated.
heard and
So
believed.
I've got a few things I'm going to do with the parties, and then I'm going to ask everyone who's still in the courtroom at that point to remain seated while the parties leave. So anyone who wants to be outside when the parties leave, please do that now.
So if you need to go, go. The media, everybody. They're like, we don't want to hear what's going
So
on in
Mr.
court.
Owens, I'm looking to you to prepare a judgment on the jury verdict.
And
Will you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
And they're going to have to talk about attorney's fees. When are you going to do that hearing? Because they're going to have to do a bad faith hearing.
Mr. Sykes, is there anything further for the court before the court adjourns?
Bad faith.
No, my client just wants to say thank you to Your Honor for the effort you made here. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Owens, is there anything further from the defense before the court adjourns?
No, thank you, Judge, and to all your staff and the bailiffs.
Let me just comment that I appreciate the professionalism that all the attorneys have shown and the parties, so thank you.
Your Honor,
This
this
court is now
trial is
adjourned.
wild.
Thank you.
My client slip out before.
Yes, everyone remain seated while the parties leave.
I'm going to make a quick statement. Ms. Paltrow is not going to be making a statement today.
Oh,
So you
Oh.
can make the statement outside,
Oh.
Mr. Owens.
I will do that.
Okay.
she stopped and patted the plaintiff on the shoulder. I am shocked by that. I am shocked by that. Are you shocked by that? I am shocked that she stopped and patted him on the shoulder as she walked out. Are you surprised by that? Let's go back. Do you guys want to go back? Let's go back. Let's go back and watch that real quick. I am very surprised as Paltrow was exiting that she stopped and tapped the plaintiff on the shoulder. I'm going to slow this back down. The news is out. We're going to talk about it in just a minute. But as you watch
Yes,
Paltrow
everyone remain
leave,
seated while the parties leave.
I'm going to make
She-
a quick statement. Ms. Paltrow is not going to be making a statement today.
So
So
you can make the statement outside.
Paltrow won't be making
Mr.
a
Owens.
statement.
I
The
will do
lawyers might have
Okay.
a press conference. She said something, and I don't know what she said, but I wonder if she said good luck or take care. It was something very quick. I don't know what it was, but probably a show of compassion. I would imagine, right? That's what we're looking for in that moment. I'm going to speed this back up and see what the court wants to put on the record. There will be some kind of press from Owens,
Now
but
adjourned.
not from Paltrow. That was a really fucking fast reading of a verdict. And we're done. Cheers, everybody. Cheers. We made it. 8 days we spent at a 5-star Airbnb or VRBO in Utah. And now we are complete. Everybody wanted to leave. I imagine there will be a press conference. We'll be taking a look at the court feeds elsewhere to see and to let you know how behind some of the other feeds were. They were just starting to show Paltrow walking out. So, sometimes we make decisions on the fly about switching feeds. I'm going to answer as many questions as I can, and then I will keep some of these feeds up to see. What if he doesn't have the money? Then he won't pay attorney's fees. They are still going to ask, I imagine, for the bad faith. Maybe they'll drop it. I don't think that they will, because if these attorneys are paid by insurance, and I don't know if they are, but if the attorneys are paid by insurance, insurance may very well want to seek those fees and might push for that, even if Paltrow would let it go. So it's just really going to depend on how these attorneys are being paid and if they want to continue to pursue it. So with all of that, I'm going to answer some questions. Lawnards, how are you feeling? Are you shocked? Not surprised? I thought 50-50 was reasonable in this, but clearly they believed her. So my order of shocked was 50-50 Paltrow, Sanderson. And when we get that fast verdict, I definitely thought we were going to be leaning towards a Paltrow verdict. And at the end of the day, the jury did not believe that Sanderson went flying through the air after he was whacked from behind by the small but mighty Gwyneth Paltrow and laid unconscious in the snow, face down, for 3 to 10 minutes. They did not believe him. And after today's arguments, I can't say that I'm surprised. His lawyers called his testimony a story. They said that they believed Paltrow. They started their closing with, "We believe her. She's not lying. She just perceived it differently. It's a ski collision. Somebody hit somebody." And I wonder how vindicated Paltrow will feel. So I wonder if at this point we will see the plaintiff actually letting this go or not. I don't know. Will he let it go? We can only hope that he, in fact, will. So with all of that, law nerds, we're going to get to some questions. We're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. We didn't even get to play this again. Hold on here. I should have played this at the beginning. We didn't get to do a pickle either. We're doing all the things. Law nerds, for your patience and your indulgence, I thank you. For joining me for another live trial, I thank you. Let's talk about what bad faith means real quick. There is an argument from Paltrow's attorneys that this lawsuit was brought in bad faith, meaning Terry Sanderson and his lawyers brought it without any belief that they could win this, with knowing that they were just suing to sue, not because they had a valid claim. And only if the judge makes those very difficult findings to make can Sanderson be required to pay Paltrow's attorney's fees, and then the court will decide the amount of those attorney's fees. So with all of that, we should see another hearing on calendar for that. The court said they would do it at a later date. I imagine the court will determine it. Do you want here? Let me put up a poll real quick and ask if you think, after watching all the evidence, that this case was brought in bad faith. Let's see. All right, let's see what you guys think, law nerds. There's over 34,000 of you here. First of all, did you get your emails? I hope you did at Law Nerds Alert. If you are new here and this is the first time you're finding me, I do live trial coverage and other breakdowns. Go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. It actually helps when you thumbs up the videos and all the rest of it. It actually does make a difference. Let's answer some questions. I've got lots of them. Carolyn said, yes, it was, as to the bad faith. That's why Gwyneth Paltrow is in court. Sanderson is already on court TV. Y'all, this is too fast for me. This is too fast for me. Hold on. Let's go take a look at a different feed and find it. Thanks, y'all, for letting me know. Let's go find the court TV feed. When we have 35,000 people monitoring the feeds, it makes it real easy to find where we're going next. So let me go see. Court TV is not still live. So I do not, their YouTube channel is not still live. So Utah Fox 13. All right, let me go look real quick. Miguelina, can you also help me look for a feed that has Sanderson talking to the press? Because I appreciate it. Let's see, because we are one of the top lives. So Utah, where am I going? Utah. Oh, Miguelina, thank you. This is why we have a producer to help find the feeds and see where we go. That was not the feed. All right. I'm looking, y'all. Don't worry. I'm looking. I appreciate you. Oh, no, that one is still outside of court. I will find it. It's hard to stream and find things in real time. Trust me. It is a minute, especially if you don't live in the area. It doesn't give you everything. All right. Let's see. Outside the trial. Let's see if Sanderson spoke to KUTV2 Salt Lake. I'm just going to back up and take a look. There we go. Oh, that was an impromptu, wasn't it? All right. Let's pull this up and take a look at what the attorneys and Sanderson had to say real fast here. It looks like a very brief interview. Let me wait. She said juries never surprised me. So you knew your client was going to lose then. All right. This looks like it came in the middle. Juries never surprised me. All right. Well, then.
Almost 30 years, juries never surprised me.
So you knew you were going to lose.
Ms. Paltrow about Taylor Swift. You talked about the $1 counters too.
This is very hard to hear.
Celebrity in this case. How do you think that impacted the case?
You'd have to ask the jury that.
I'm asking you.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Is Terry Sanderson still suffering?
In my opinion, yeah, he is. He's a very nice man. He's a very nice man.
Kristen, what were the biggest challenges for you all on the plaintiff's side in this case?
The biggest challenge for me is being on the plaintiff's side. This is the only plaintiff's case I've ever had.
Oh,
so
you're a
that was
defense attorney.
challenge for me.
That's
What do you
interesting.
normally work on?
I'm a defense lawyer, so
What did you think about the international attention this case received?
it is absolutely overwhelming, and I could not believe it.
Because it's a ski crash. Most of the time, people get up after crashing on
I
the ski
can
run.
tell you this much. I have newfound appreciation for Ms. Paltrow. If she has to deal with all of this on a daily basis, I can't even imagine. And I feel for her with that.
What's going to happen with attorney's fees? I know that that's something that her side asked for. There's a motion for directed verdict that's laid out there.
That's something per Utah statute, the judge will be deciding that. It's a really high burden for her to have to meet.
What do you think the ballpark would be for attorney's fees on her side if she asked Terry Sanderson to pay them?
I have no idea.
And will he be able to afford it?
I have no idea. But
That's
my
very
guess,
helpful.
under the standard of the law,
This is
I
very
don't
helpful.
see that will succeed. I don't know. I really don't have any idea. Whenever
Do you have any sense as to how much money has been spent on legal fees?
Oh, that's
At
a good
least on
question.
your
How
side?
much money has
No
been spent
clue.
on legal fees?
we're from different law firms, so
Any final words with the jury?
They don't know.
I thank them for their service. I really do, and I respect the jury.
Disappointing, though, today.
You know, the juries. I respect the jury no matter how the outcome is. There's always positives and there's always negatives.
All right, we're going to
I
go to
respect
Sanderson
the
next.
process.
Was the jury sufficiently attentive?
We're gonna
during
go to
this
Oh, I
Sanderson
think they did
next.
great. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank
So Kristen Van Orman, she is on the plaintiff's side. One of
She's on the
a
plaintiff's
number
side
of
as their
lawyers,
defense
and people are
attorneys.
throwing out numbers, 5, who knows how many. But there was a team of lawyers for the plaintiff,
There
Terry
was like 5 or
Sanderson,
6.
Gwyneth Paltrow. Just a couple of minutes before we were
All
able to
right,
get out.
We are going to switch to Terry Sanderson's statement. Chat, beg your indulgence. Let's go ahead and switch and hope the audio is a little bit better. So I'm going to get that pulled up real quick. Thank you all to the chat for directing me. Sometimes it takes a minute to get to the statements that we are going to take a look at together, but I appreciate you. You are the greatest research attorneys. And let's go now. These parties are all in different places. Interesting to me that this attorney, Kristen, was not with Terry Sanderson when he and his other attorneys are making a statement. Walked out the front of the courthouse while her client is making a statement elsewhere. That's an interesting thing, isn't it?
A long time. How does it feel that is there some conclusion? Is there some conclusion now? Is there closure? Just how are you feeling about that?
It takes too long to get to this point to get closure like that. It will be a while to get back to my life again.
You put a lot out, and this was national attention. A lot of people watching, a lot of your personal life just out there. How is all of that making you feel now?
Well, we joked about it a bit. This is so much for dating sites, right?
I'm going to pause and refresh this because the audio is off. Let's see if this helps.
Way too much information out there for me, and so yeah, I'll start over again and spend more time with family.
Good. Spend time with family.
Anything else you want to add about all of this? Kind of what's next? What this means to you?
Well, I like the term that he used. We fought the good fight. We worked very hard on this.
I'm sure you worked very
It's hard to try a case. It's a lot of evidence.
Counsel.
A lot of things happen that we don't agree with, but that happens in every trial. Okay. So Terry conducted himself nobly. He kept his cool. He stayed with us. He helped us. We're grateful for that. So he's a good man.
So is there anything you would redo or do differently in retrospect?
Well, I rethink a little bit about how I could be characterized. That's a real disappointment that it wasn't just about the facts of the accident, was it? There were things brought up like anxiety, which I got a prescription for in 91, and I refilled it one time a few months ago for this trial, like enough for 12 days in 91. But that stays in your record as having that issue for the rest of your life. And there were many of those kinds of things that, no, I'm not that crazy person. I think that I listened to that whole thing about how it was characterized, and it wasn't just about the action, wasn't it? It's about the character. They drugged that character in there. And
well, you're suing for your life changing.
Yeah, I wish I could have that back.
You put that on the record.
I didn't realize that when you go down this row, I thought it'd be about a ski accident that
your lawyers
knew I had the truth, the absolute facts, and it wasn't about that.
It was about that.
It turned out it was about the narrative about the life I've lived, things said that absolutely were not true, and I'll never get a chance to change that.
Did Gwyneth Paltrow say something to you?
He doesn't accept this verdict.
She did. I wish you well, she said to me.
Oh.
That was very kind. Yeah.
Gwyneth Paltrow told him, I wish you well. And I had speculated that it would be something like take care or something like that. But he is not accepting this verdict and has said, and said this should just be about a ski crash. There's no way it's going to just be about a ski crash, and his lawyers would have advised him of that.
Very nice. Very kind.
And, the jury found 100% fault.
Yes, they did.
How do you reconcile that with all your injuries and everything that you've been through?
He can be at fault and still be injured, though.
Well, I say this somewhere in communicating the issues I have, and I didn't get a chance to talk about many of the other issues. One of those I call the walk of shame. You walk to the fridge and you go, why am I here? What if you did that all day long? What if it was like the very next thing you did, you turned and did something else and went, why did I do that?
Chad, who's ever walked into a room and forgotten why they were there?
Triple the miles of what I should have walked in a day by just
I empathize
back and forth and undoing and redoing.
But a lot of people,
those kinds of issues are very real. In fact, I'll tell you a cute story if you don't mind. You get so down on yourself if you're doing that all the time, going from walk of shame to walk of shame, why am I here, what am I doing, that I read about the invention of the dog clicker by a husband and his wife who used it to train seals and penguins and such, and now dogs. And
maybe reframe the walk of shame with some therapy, though.
And so I told one of my daughters, I think I need a dog clicker. I need to be reminded of the good things. I'm losing track of that. And I got a little gift in the mail with a little tag said, good boy. And I clicked that clicker, and it got, after 2 weeks, what's
very much
amazing
likes
is that you
pills.
don't need to click the clicker. All you have to do is think about, I'm going to get the clicker, click it, and the goodness is done. The good hormones, the dopamine is running in your brain, and so it worked. It helped me get me out of the doldrums when I was having these issues, and I still do. I got it out the other day again.
So once and for all,
Yes. One last question.
okay, the GoPro video. Is there a GoPro video?
There never was. If there was, I would have locked that thing up
I don't know if the jury
behind
believes that.
security, because it would have shown the absolute truth that I wished for, and we tried to encourage it to come out of the woodwork, and it never did. Never had one. It actually is a link to the lady who saved me and got me
That's
off the
different.
mountain.
No,
who came with
those
me
are-
and got me.
don't
It was a link to
conflate the
that. It
two.
said, here's
Disagree.
a witness, an eyewitness, meaning she was an eyewitness to what I left, what condition
The
I left in.
GoPros from the email, not the
And,
link. Those are two
And I
different
just
things.
praised her, sang her praises for getting me off the
Those are
mountain.
two different
Thanks,
things.
Can I
folks.
have one more question?
That's it, one more.
Okay, what do you want people to, who are watching this trial, who know what was happening, what do you want them to be able to take away?
We've got one more press conference we're going to switch to
The
next.
takeaway is
After
the
Sanderson
preparation
finishes.
for this by the attorneys, by the team of people, and the time they invested in this, that you don't see them doing, is so significant. They get so vested in
Ooh,
this.
the door's slamming is loud.
And of course, I participate in that too. And it's a huge expense of your personal
That he had
energy
never-
going in that direction. So you got a lot committed to that. And so that's all the work you don't see. And for 7 years, we haven't just been sitting around. There's been lots of work to do.
There's been lots
So
of litigation.
you look back on that and you go, well, I'm not so sure we got the outcome we wanted. It doesn't feel like the effort. I should have gotten the Olympic Games, we'd have gotten some medal, like a silver or something, right? But no, it didn't work out that way.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
You wanted a medal?
Thank you for your kindness.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to the conference of Terry Sanderson outside of the courthouse, and then Owens and the rest of Paltrow's team show up. So we're going to go there. It's odd that he was like, well, with the Olympics, you get a medal. That's an interesting statement. When you lose in court, you get the cost of an appeal or you get the cost of your litigation. So let's go to Sanderson now leaving the courthouse. Okay. And we're going to get a sense of what everybody has to say today, aren't we? Because everybody certainly has something to say.
I think he's being.
Oh, this audio is a little tough. Hold on. Let me gain this up. As I switch feeds, I lose my
Terry.
audio.
Terry, some thoughts.
I'm just very disappointed, as you might expect. Very disappointed.
He needs
Lot
to
of
go
work.
process.
factors going into the decision, Terry?
Oh boy, that's a
Well,
lot of media.
It shouldn't have been the facts of the accident because, as I said, I brought absolutely the truth to the accident.
When you are suing because your life has changed because of an accident, and you are suing for injuries and damages because of the accident becomes the jumping off point. Everything before and everything after becomes highly relevant because you are suing for $3 million. His lawyers would have explained this to him. It doesn't mean that he's accepted that that's the way it is, but it's never in civil just about the accident, ever. It never is. And I realize that he wants it to be like, no, look at this. It's like, no, you're saying this caused all this damage. So we need to look at before and after.
And no reason to wander from that, and I still won't. And I brought it for that reason, because I wanted to see if justice prevails in those situations. But it becomes character assassination, doesn't it? It becomes things that you...
I did not see character assassination in this trial. Chat, I need to know what you think. And the verdict is pinned. Chat, did you see character assassination in this trial? I think there was a lot more in Terry Sanderson's life they could have gotten into. I think there were times when Owens overstepped with the daughter's deposition, that they were estranged. But I don't think it was a character assassination the way we have seen in some cases. There were times where I think there was an overreach, perhaps, with the third daughter's transcript. But I do not see it as a character assassination to say, hey, sir, you've had anger management and 2 divorces prior to this. So maybe your brain scans and the behavior before isn't all from the accident. I think there were times Owens brought up that the daughter's depot, but it wasn't as brutal as it could be. I don't think, given everything that we now know about Terry Sanderson. I think his testimony did him in for himself. Like, you lost it for yourself, Coach.
Long gone in your life that gets brought back. Things from 30 years ago.
I hope he takes the doctor's advice and
meaningless.
finds some
One
therapy.
of your lawyers
for this.
said today it's tough to sue a celebrity. Tell us how tough.
The resources that are available to them, and I doubt I got the feeling that they never really knew what was going on. They were so protected, and they're really. This is odd having so many cameras.
Yeah.
Your entire medical history was basically displayed for the world. Was this worth it?
Absolutely not. Knowing that now, no.
Your lawyers would have told
joked
you
about dating sites, right? It's like I'm going to be on the internet forever, right? And
on
have a reality
display.
show,
On
Terry.
display.
This is a crazy world we live in here.
Who was pitching him a reality show?
Gwyneth Paltrow taught you as she left, and what was your
Her exact words, "I wish you well." Very kind of her.
That's all she said.
That's all she said.
Okay, and did you respond?
I said, "Thank you, dear." I said, "Thank you, dear."
Bob, your lawyer, even said, she's
Let's
a
all
good person.
move on
She's a
from
good
this
mother.
now.
She's not lying. Terry's a good person. He's not a good. So somewhere in there, it's just at the end of the day, he said, she said, there was nowhere anyone could go.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course, you get some assumed credibility from being a famous person.
Sir. Gwyneth Paltrow did not have any assumed credibility, at least not what I've seen from the thousands and thousands and thousands of people on the internet that do not like Gwyneth Paltrow. I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow got assumed credibility in this chat in this case at all. Chat. Did Gwyneth Paltrow get assumed credibility in this at all? I think Gwyneth Paltrow got, you have to overcome the fact that people have very strong negative opinions of her. I don't think there was assumed credibility. I think her testimony came across as more credible, but I think she had to overcome people's perceptions of her before she got to that.
Well, people just take it. Who wants to take on a celebrity? Really, no wonder I hesitated, right? It's difficult. Who wants to do that? Someone who learns lines and learns how to play someone else's part and be believable, be credible, and get awarded for that. Who wants to go down that path? And that's caused me so much hesitation.
And in her version, because Bob said no.
I believe she thinks she has the truth. I believe she thinks that.
Emily,
but
just listen.
I know.
Just listen.
I absolutely know. And I said I would not bring any falsehoods. I'm going to tell the truth, and I did. Absolutely. I feel good about it.
Was she acting? Was this another role for her?
I wouldn't know that. You'll have to speak with her.
There are ski accidents all the time.
Yes.
People get up, they dust themselves off, they ski out. So why bring this?
Why bring this 3 years later?
Case?
I've never been hit harder in my life, ever, ever, ever. I've never been knocked so flat, hit so hard initially, and just pounded. And then I didn't know, of course, after I hit the ground, I was out, but she bounced off and slid up to the right side. This is stuff I didn't know. How long was I unconscious? How would I know that? It's whatever anybody tells me. It's, 2 minutes, 5, 10. It's really hard to track that truth. And so, yeah, I was all over the place. I didn't know.
Everybody talks about it being a beginner run. If you know the run in the midway through, just before it cuts to Lucky Charm, it's actually quite steep. Do you know what part of the run it was? Because you can get going fast at certain spots.
I think it was just, I don't know, have you seen where they put up the big signs that say slow down? They're huge, great big signs.
Yeah.
It was just past those. I just passed those and just leaned back. I was just gliding.
One more question.
You answered questions on the stand, and you were cogent. You seemed very attentive. How does that jibe with the assertions that your mental capacity is diminished?
Yes, I just
ask my doctor
a similar question. The habits that I've gotten into that are just unique, I found workarounds, significant workarounds. You've heard about chewing gum and walking at the same time? Well, what
Or
if
chewing gum and
all you
talking in
could
court,
do was
apparently.
think about walking in order to keep from this right leg from going the wrong direction? What if that's what it was? All of a sudden your walk on trails is different. You're just watching where you're stepping instead of enjoying the beauty of what you're seeing. So there's things
Wait,
that
other
go in
people don't
hidden
have
that
to
you
look
just
where they're
adapt to
walking?
that
You don't have to
realize.
look where you're walking?
And the other thing
So you
is
don't trip?
I've called the walk of shame. You, everybody walks up to the fridge, right? And goes, well, why am I here? Right? But what if the very next thing you did was another walk of shame? And you go, what's going on? So
you're doing?
all day long.
That's
and
it, guys.
It never
Thank you,
goes
guys.
away.
Thank you, everybody.
It never goes away. But you don't
His
see
lawyer's
that.
trying
There's
to
closure in the
push him out of
case.
there.
Can you have closure? Now.
His lawyer is trying to push him out of this location. It's going to be difficult to get him pushed out of this location. But wait, is that Billy Bush?
Yes. Simon just called me. I gotta come back.
What? Who? They've sent everybody outside of this courthouse. I'm gonna fast forward because Owens is coming out of court in just a second. Whoever's feed this is, they capture the Blair Witch Project. They capture the legal team for Paltrow coming out. This is chaotic out here. They did not have a podium like they normally do.
Sending those out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's an email. There's an email.
Wait, if Billy Bush is on Extra again tonight, he's going to be annoyed if
where
they
you're
make
gonna
a joke
get
about me
longer
having gutter
statement,
hair
but
again.
This is a 3-sentence statement.
There's an email. We don't want an email, Owens. Where's James? Bring us James. We demand James.
Here's James. Are you reading a statement?
Where's
3
James?
sentences.
Okay.
Any further statements will be through this email.
What email?
We're pleased with this outcome and appreciate the judge and jury's thoughtful consideration and handling of the case. Gwyneth has always had a history of advocating for what she believes in, and this statement was no different. And she will continue to stand up for what is right. Any further statements will be made through an email, press@harmonyhouse.com.
Steve, we just went live on the air. Could you read that statement again, please?
Yeah, since I botched it.
One more time, for the record. Steve Owens, attorney for James, for Gwyneth Paltrow. James Egan, also attorney for Paltrow.
James, let
We're
James
pleased
do
with
it.
this
Let
outcome
James do
and
it.
appreciate the judge and jury's thoughtful handling of this case.
He's building his email list. Respect.
Gwyneth has a history of advocating for what she believes in. This situation was no different, and she will continue to stand for what she believes is right. Thank you.
James.
Any further statements will be made through press@harmonyhouse.com.
James.
Thanks, everyone.
Did you have a conversation with her after
Sure.
today? And what did she say?
You said you weren't
Thumbs
going
up.
to say anything else.
Very happy.
James. James.
All right, so that's Steve Owens, attorney for Gwyneth Paltrow.
All right, and we are done with that. So with all of it, that is the end, it looks like, of the pressers, the chaotic pressers outside of court. James was like, bye guys, download my music, James Egan on Spotify, and court is done for the day. I'm going to take a few more questions. We are going to continue to react to these press conferences and react to this verdict. Chat, I've seen your reactions. A lot of you don't agree with Terry Sanderson's statement there after court. I understand that. I agree with you. He is going to have unfortunately a difficult journey. That was my stomach. A difficult journey to walk in accepting this outcome and accepting this result. And it sounds like he feels that this case was a character assassination of him, and perhaps even though his lawyers, I'm sure, prepped him for what a case like this is like, maybe he didn't fully appreciate exactly what that really meant and exactly what that really would be like. So with all of it, today has been a wild one, law nerds, but we're done. We're at the end of this case. Look at us. And I think we're number 1 on live trending. Oh, no, we're not. There's other things happening in the news that bumped us down just slightly. Ignore the other things in the news. Ignore. We're going to finish talking about pop culture. Hard pass. I know. I would love to go have a glass of whiskey, but I have a number of interviews to do tonight. I will be on Extra this evening. I have a few other things. If you are on Law Nerd Alert, when I either have links to those things or if I have updates for you, then I will send out all of those updates through Law Nerd Alert to keep you in the loop of where I am going to be. So, with all of that, let's get to some of our super chats and questions, and then y'all, I think we've done enough work for this day. So let's answer some questions and just take a deep breath. Y'all get to move in with me temporarily. We can just reconvene back on my channel to stream next week and kind of have a decompress stream. I need to decide when I will do a decompress stream for us just to have a stream and chit chat in the days to come and in the thoughts and the processing that comes after a trial like this. And then we'll get back to doing what we were doing before this trial and trying to catch up on all the shit we missed in the 6 weeks of the Murdaugh trial. But it is my intention to cover Rust next, which is next month, and then cover Idaho. I'm sure something will come up in between that. I just don't know if I will be able to jump in. I need a couple weeks to get caught up on all of my other coverage, the podcast, and a little bit of sleep. So that's where I'm at. But don't worry, we have so much to cover. Forever X Jenna said, I just had dinner. Is Murdaugh? It's Murdaugh all over again. We knew this one was going to be fast, which hasn't given me a whole lot of time today, but we knew that this one was going to be quick. And then for timing, Miguelina, we're going to answer questions. So if Chris needs anything, or Chris, I know you're watching. If you need anything, just let Miguelina know and I'll see it in the chat. I know we've got some scheduling stuff coming up in short order. Punishment for losing side, milking cows forever. They have to milk the cows. I think baby will recognize your voice once born. Nina, congratulations. And possibly we talk here together quite a lot, don't we? Aaron, thank you for the super chat. What's the next trial you're covering and when will it be? The next known live coverage, and I do change my mind on the fly, I am easily persuaded by y'all, is Rust. And that's at the very beginning of May. So that is it. So with it, let's keep going. He's suddenly cogent, clear, and commanding. He seems manipulative, reminds me of the staircase guy, acts befuddled to cover lies when it suits. Susanna, I think a lot will take away from that. I found his testimony to be difficult, and I found his witness testimony to be difficult. He did not go flying through the air, and he was not face down unconscious for 3 to 10 minutes. I don't know if those that thought they saw it did him a disservice. I don't know if somebody hyped him up that this was going to be a great case to take, but those factors weren't believable. And then when you get his lawyers arguing, I believe Gwyneth Paltrow, she's a good person, she's a good mother. It's really hard. It's really hard. Chad, no, I'm not taking April off. I'm taking April off from live trial coverage. I will still be here doing what I regularly do. So we will be regular, excuse me. I've been pounding water today and my throat is just like, what is happening? So I will be doing my regular coverage. But I will daily live trial coverage is a different type of energy level. So there will be a little bit of a break from that type of day in, day out live coverage. The mods need it, and so do I. So there will be a little bit of a pause back to regular programming, but not today. Elena, I got the text on the drive home and I barely pulled into my parking lot before the verdict was read. It was fast. Your girl said legal secretary here in Texas was literally walking away from my desk when I got this text, sat right back down. It was fast today, wasn't it? Perfect, Miguelina. Thank you. Do we think the camera will be on Paltrow during the verdict reading? We got to see everybody's reactions today, didn't we? Lynette, hello from your neighbor, one county over. Thank you for being the best law channel on the interwebs. We definitely are your number one place for live trial coverage. So you're welcome. I'm here for it. We're here to have like all of our neurodivergent, cursing, law nerdy selves just taking over the YouTubes. It's fine. Everyone else can have their other spaces. We have the YouTube space. I'm hoping this verdict comes back in favor of Gwyneth Paltrow. Melissa, wish granted. I think it's Suma. If I pronounce that improperly, please let me know. These recent verdicts have been very fast. Does it speak to the growing black-white view we have as a society? There's not much nuance in people. I think in these cases where it comes down to credibility, if they just don't believe one party, we're going to get fast verdicts. So they just don't believe. They just didn't believe Terry Sanderson, and I can see where they didn't. At the beginning of this trial, let's do a swoop on my thoughts. These are my quick thoughts. These are not my in-depth thoughts. At the beginning of this trial, I went in really not knowing how they were going to reconcile these two versions of the stories just from looking at the documents. I have a podcast breaking it down. I'm like, these are very different sides. This jury might come back. It's a collision. It's a ski crash, 50-50. Y'all go home. As we got further into this trial, the inconsistencies stacked against the plaintiff time and time again. And once you start stacking against the plaintiff, once you have stacks and stacks of inconsistencies, it makes it very hard to push that burden in your favor. And then you see the last cross-examination of Sanderson with all of the travel, and it was kind of the end for them. And then you get that instruction saying, if you believe there's a GoPro, you're allowed to assume that that footage went against him. It makes it a very hard case for the plaintiff to win. So do I think the jury got it right? I absolutely understand how they found it. Absolutely understand how they found it. Absolutely do. There was enough evidence for there to do that. They did not believe him at all. And I can understand why. The inconsistencies stacked up on his side. I believe he was injured in this incident. I believe that he doesn't remember what happened afterwards. And his friend Ramon told him what happened. And he believes that. I believe this was very difficult for him to recover from and that his life did change. I don't believe that was Gwyneth Paltrow's fault. So in that, the jury did get it right. Can the jury make a statement? I saw that question in the chat from Green Eyes 77. Yes, the jurors can speak to the media, and I think we'll see that from the local media, them trying to get those jurors to talk. It's going to take them some time. Jury, you get nothing. That's exactly what they did. Emily, but what's our next trial? I think I just lined that out for you, hopefully. Could Sanderson appeal if he loses? I don't know if he'll want to spend the money to do that. I think the best thing for Sanderson, honestly, is to try to heal and move on. So if Gwyneth Paltrow wins every case I've watched with you, the person facing on the left side wins. So it's Gwyneth Paltrow wins every case I've watched with you, the person on the left facing side wins. I don't know because it depends on where the jury is, because the person with the burden of proof sits closer to the jury, and it just depends on where the jury is, because you had the prosecution sitting closer to the jury in Brooks and in Murdaugh, and they won. But then you had Johnny Depp sitting closer to the jury. He had the burden and he won. But then you had Sanderson sitting closest to the jury and he had the burden and he did not win. So the parties with the burden that have won in the cases I've covered most closely are Depp, burden, and he won. He brought the suit and he won. Brooks and Murdaugh, the prosecution, convicted. And then Paltrow is where the person with the burden did not win. Gwyneth Paltrow posted a statement on Instagram. Okay, we'll go take a look. Give me 3 seconds to change my screen layout, and we'll go take a look at that real quick. Where did my screen go? All right, let me get rid of my shares. You guys don't need to hear me thinking out loud, do you? Well, sometimes it helps. I need to just switch over my screen sharing and go pull up the gram real quick. I'm sure it was a prepared statement because this was a possibility. And it was interesting hearing from Kristen, is it? I'm teasing, that was a Paltrow reference. It was interesting hearing from Kristen that, where did it go? I just shut my screen again. It was interesting hearing from Kristen that she's never surprised by jury verdicts. And again, she's a defense attorney. She was brought in for the counterclaim, so she was defending the counterclaim. She was the one that was kind of fangirling with Gwyneth. Let's go take a look. Let's go see. All right, I need to share screen. Let's see. Share screen. Is it a post or is it an Insta story? Let's see. It might be a story. Oh, it is a story. Okay. I'm going to have to screenshot that in a second. All right. It is a story, not a post. So this will be up and down quickly, I imagine. So here we go. Gwyneth Paltrow 3 minutes ago on her Instagram. Thank you, chat, for being the best little research attorneys around. You guys rock. I felt that acquiescing to a false claim compromised my integrity. I am pleased with the outcome, and I appreciate all of the hard work of Judge Holmberg and the jury, and thank them for their thoughtfulness in handling this case. A very clear, concise statement from Gwyneth Paltrow after a verdict in her favor. I think it's a gracious statement. What do you think? Chat, what do you think? I think it's a gracious statement. I'm going to screenshot it before it disappears. Thank the jury, thank the judge, and explain why you fought. And this is what I've said from the beginning of this case. If you look at it from her perspective, she thinks this is a BS false claim. That's what her attorney said. She thinks this is a BS false claim. How do you back down to that when you feel like you're being ransomed? Miguelina, is that live tomorrow? Just let me know. How do you back down when you think it's a BS claim? You can't, can you? If you think you're being ransomed, which is what he said in closing, what Owens said in closing, if you think you're being ransomed by someone who ran into on a ski slope, how do you say, okay, I'll settle it? You kind of say, you know what, this is going to suck, but enough. Enough. I'm going to stand and fight. And that's, I think, what we saw with Gwyneth, saying this is going to absolutely suck, but I am going to stand and fight. So with all of that, chat, did you find the plaintiff's closing more persuasive than the defense, or did you find that I'm going to start another. Emily, just start a poll. Whose closing did you find most persuasive? Actually, I should probably ask if you're surprised by the verdict, but whatever. Whose closing did you find? Am I going to spell persuasive properly? Probably not. If I didn't spell persuasive properly, I'm sorry. Plaintiff, defense. Defense was funnier. So there's that. Defense was a lot funnier. All right. My brain is like moving way too fast right now. Chat, Lady Glitter Sparkles, you know how much I love your screen name and the Trolls reference and your image. I love all of it. You're welcome for the membership. GP looks emotional. She must be relieved. She did look a bit. She looked like she was trying not to over emote at that. Hey, he's not coughing and snorting. Not a single sound during that entire press conference. I was surprised. Jerome, that she said anything to the plaintiff after he dragged her through litigation since 2019. I was surprised that she patted him as well. I was just surprised. I realize you say it's no big deal, but I was very, very surprised. She'll probably let him know that Goop is 50% off. I mean, she could have put that in her statement. Thank you so much, EDB. Love every trial with you and your commentary. All the best from Vancouver. You know what I might do, y'all? I might send out, my team's going to be like, what is she about to say? Sorry, team. I know. Team Baker's just like, what is she going to do? I think I will send out a form to our email list and ask you what you want to see me cover next and give you guys some input. We have a form that I can take all of that information in so you don't have to email back. And I will send that out to our email list. So many of you have asked, what are we doing next? Where are we moving next? I've told you what my thoughts are, but I will also send it out to you tomorrow. I will send that out and say, hey, what do you think? What do you want to see me? I'm going to ask for all the law nerds inputs. So if you are not on the list, you will not get it. I will do it. Oh, Miguelina, that makes sense. Chris, that makes sense. Thank you. With regarding tomorrow's pre-record. Paula said, I bet she said, fuck it. My name is Charlie and I have, listen, if you watch KB, you know. Thank you, Paula. Wait, my lift ticket is still good till tomorrow. You've lost half a day. Blame Sanderson. She looked a little sad at a verdict, but relieved. I believe she feels sorry for him. And I 100% agree with you. I think she feels sorry for him too. And I think she probably wishes he would have just dropped it. I think his daughters probably wish he would just drop it. It's not easy to watch someone say, I can't move on from this. And it's sad. It's sad. It is a sad thing for him. I just don't know if that's Gwyneth's fault. I feel very badly for Sanderson, but that I don't think is her fault. I think that is a circumstance that he can't move on from. And it's a really unfortunate circumstance. So I absolutely agree with you. Temp said, I had a feeling she would do a gesture of goodwill. It's a great PR move. I think she will make a statement that she will pay for her own legal fees. And she might, well, if her insurance paid, she might just drop it, depending. Why wouldn't they schedule the bad faith hearing? I don't know. I don't know at all. Garlic burgers all around. Cheers to that. Oh, I've got a very busy weekend ahead, so I'm kind of excited to not be waiting on this jury all day tomorrow. My kiddo has competition this weekend. It's their last one of the season. So I'm really excited to I will probably put social media down for the weekend and just take a couple of days because these are high energy trials, and then just be in the moment and enjoy the family. Because, after 6 weeks of Murdaugh and then 2 weeks of this, I miss them. I think the photos of his extreme travel and mountain climbing helped their decision. I think so. I think so too. And I don't think it's that you can't continue on. I don't expect people when they've had an injury or an illness, I don't expect people to just live in their homes. I expect them to live their lives, and I think they should. For me, it's been the difference between the two. Your daughters and your medical providers, and even you painted this picture here, but you're posting on social media, post this picture here. It was the vast divergence. It wasn't yes, I've gone out to dinner sometimes with my family, and yes, I've gone on a few trips, and yes, I've done some things so I feel alive and got out of my house. It was much, much more than that. So, thank you so much. I'm watching Terry live. He loves to talk. We definitely covered that. Predictions on what James does next now that he's famous. I hope he releases new music. That's the only thing. Okay. So I think that's it. Miguelina, do we have can you just send me the info? I will do that in a few minutes because I will be wrapping up in a few minutes. I'm not surprised at the verdict. I personally believe that what swung it further into Gwyneth Paltrow's court regarding liability for damages was his last-ditch attempt at theatrics and sneaking in. The island comment was so freaking weird. It was like, someone needs to be held accountable. And it was like, sir? Jordan said, will you be covering the indictment news from today? No, I won't. Not right now, anyway. I cover pop culture news. I like covering pop culture news. I'm sure there will be plenty of coverage on it. Look, the government is forfeiting Jen Shaw's snowflake necklace. I will be getting back to more pop culture news. So no, I will not be. I'm sure there will be ample coverage of it. And it's stuff I don't like to cover. Nice is often used when you can't say other words. That's fair. Living Sweetly said, given the history, it's shocking that she talked and touched him. I thought so too. Let's hope that he doesn't perceive it negatively. I think he perceived it positively. I do. I think he was like, it was a kind gesture. I hope now that this is over, I don't know if these parties will be able to resolve, but her wishing him well, I hope allows him to just take a deep breath and move on. I don't think she could have given him an apology before because it would have been used against her in court. I don't think it was bad faith, Stacey said. I think he has convinced himself that GP is the cause of all of his life's troubles. And that's a very fair interpretation, especially after what other people have told him. Right? Like he believed his side of it. Runs with scissors. Thank you. He just, I think that's an issue too. Kate said, this reminds me of the Depp trial in one specific way. I didn't really like Depp or Paltrow before watching their trials, and now I have so much respect for each of them for standing up for the truth. I found myself really empathizing with the position Gwyneth Paltrow was in taking this to trial, and empathizing with the position in life the plaintiff is in this case. I absolutely did. Thanks, EDB. This live stream with you has been great. Thank you. It's why I like covering pop culture, because I like covering pop culture. Look, the wonderful thing about getting to choose to be my own broadcaster is I get to cover the stuff I like the most. And when I do dip into stuff that's not pop culture, it generally is criminal that is in the pop culture, but is not necessarily celebrity. So that's how I choose. And I talk about that on my I Have Thoughts podcast a bit, of how I choose stories and how I choose what to cover. It's really a collaboration, but I do not cover politics. April and Jack, and I had in the past, and it drains my energy like nothing else, and it makes me miserable. April and Jack said, we are seeing Sanderson exactly in his element here. He was like, oh, there's a lot of cameras. And it was. It was a lot of cameras. My cat tripped me up when I practiced a dance as a teenager. I didn't sue her for damages. Cats be like that. That was probably an intentional tort. I think it was probably intentional. I don't think that was negligence. Cats are very intentional. Testimony on TS's high narcissism score was very revealing. He's used to being in control, and this trial was about how he can't control getting older. And that's a hard thing. And I have truly empathy for that. I think the moments where Paltrow's team kind of oversold he told the doctors he felt like he was getting old all of a sudden. It felt like they were trying to make fetch happen. It was like the I have other uses for your throat text. I felt that was a very human thing that a lot of us feel. And a lot of us are like, there's moments in our lives, right, when we're just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm getting older. Like when you accidentally sleep slightly off angle and your back is fucked for a week. You're like, how did I hurt myself sneezing all of a sudden? We all feel these moments, and it was very relatable. And I think there were times he tried to make more of it a bit. I don't think he responded to GP. He needs to stop talking. It looked like he turned to say something. Kate, do you think same facts would an ordinary person have won? On these exact facts, I don't think it matters who Gwyneth Paltrow was. I think on these facts, it would just be some other rich person, because they have all the ski instructors and stuff. But I think same exact everything. It's just not Gwyneth Paltrow. It's just some anonymous rich person. Yeah, I still think they win. Glassy B, Emily, check my music with sound bites of the trial. Okay, I will. Done already. I just finished unpacking. I told you guys we were at a layover. Don't unpack all the way. Jeannie said, I have seen no sign of uncontrollable rage or confusion throughout the trial or after. True. Question, where and when are we moving to next? I talked about that a bit earlier. Emily D. Baker, Mom, did you pay our daycare bill when you dumped us on the bunny slope and Runkle of the Bailey had to afternoon sit for us yesterday? He did a great job. Runkle is such a great content creator. I don't think he was babysitting the law nerds, but I'm glad that he stepped up and didn't just put on a tape and turn out the lights in the classroom like a substitute teacher. So thank you for being a good host. But I feel like Runkle has been doing such a great job of recapping these at the end of the night. It's such a hard thing to do. Sierra, why do you think Terry chose to sue at all? He felt aggrieved. He felt wronged, and he believed himself. And he felt very wronged, and he felt insulted. And I think that was the thing that stuck out. That's the thing that stuck out to me the most in his testimony. He felt insulted, and he was going to take that on. Matthew said, objection hearsay, law mommy doesn't need sleep. Oh, law mommy needs lots of sleep. Aaron, thank you for the super chat. One more question. Do we need to know whether or not Idaho preliminary trial in June will be live streamed? It will be recorded in some manner. I don't know if it will be streamed or if it will be delayed. When I know, I will let you know. But it will be recorded in some manner. Soda said, I meant that I've watched these 4 trials with you, and the person on the left facing the judge has won. Oh, I didn't. Jury boxes change where they are located in each court. I didn't even notice that. It's an interesting coincidence. Leslie Ann, thank you. What am I supposed to do tomorrow? Take laundry is what I'm doing tomorrow. I have a lot on my plate for tomorrow. Thank you for all you do, and looking forward to the next one. Well, I'll be back streaming next week. It just won't be a live trial. It won't be quite as long. I don't think this trial would have happened without Ramon's influence. I don't think so either. Question, professionals are paid. You are the real deal. Well, thank you. I love doing what I do. I like broadcasting. Could his insurance have paid his legal fees? It's possible. It's absolutely possible. This could be an insurance case. Question, do you think he has to pay his lawyers? It could be insurance or not. So let's do it. Hi, Emily. First message. Thanks for cheering me up. Sykes' new nickname is Old Yella. Like the dog, like Old Yeller. It was very interesting that he's like, I'm just a country lawyer. And then we got to, I grew up in the city. I was like, what the fuck? Who just says I'm just a country lawyer? Like, it was just so interesting. It was just so interesting. Delia said, on the start, I was anti-Gwyneth Paltrow. I can't relate. Once she testified, I was annoyed because I finally had a grasp on what could have happened. She had to work harder, in my opinion. I completely understand that. I think she had more to overcome as a celebrity than Terry Sanderson did. Terry Sanderson comes in as somebody who's been injured in this case, and that's uncontroverted. Gwyneth Paltrow comes in as a celebrity that's controversial and a lot of people don't like, who can be off-putting and unrelatable and kind of icy. I think she had more to overcome in this case than he did, truthfully. And I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Law Nerds, as always, I appreciate all of your thoughtfulness. Y'all are absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Emily, did you replay Bueller saying he was famous being Ferris's cousin from yesterday? I didn't replay it, but I saw it. That moment gave me a chuckle. There were definitely moments. This trial was jam-packed with moments from all of the very strange examination of Paltrow and the I have to wear heels just to be 5'5". From all of those moments, that was bananas, to the you don't keep your skis on when you get blown, to just all the rest of it. It is so, this trial has had so many moments, to lots of people chewing gum in court. It wasn't just the one. He was on the record, but lots of people chewing gum in court. Every trial has its own little quirks, and we definitely saw the quirks in this one. And with all of that, Law Nerds, I will keep you posted at Law Nerd Alert and in the member spaces where and when I will be streaming. I will do some summaries and keep you posted on where I will be this evening on different media outlets, because I do have a number of things lined up that I have to go do. I love being here with you first, and I say no to, like, my team is like, okay, what are we doing? I'm like, I need this much time to be with the Law Nerds. Y'all can have me after that, but we are streaming with the Law Nerds first. And that is the priority, to be here and have this conversation with y'all. Because can y'all believe this fucking trial? This trial has introduced us to some wild characters. James, the lawyer that kind of saved our sanity, who has like albums on the interwebs. Owens, who was like, I'm not complaining, and then whined more than my kids when they were young, to just Surkoff's a lot, and the rest of them. This trial was absolutely bananas. I hope they disinfect the entire courtroom. Probably not by putting things up its butt, though. And that is a Gwyneth Paltrow reference. If you missed the live stream Q&A over on Patreon with me and Dr. B, we have a discussion of Gwyneth Paltrow and some of her health tips for using ozone. I think we also talked about the eggs. I might need an egg. I see, like, right back here, I feel like we need a souvenir from this trial to go up there. I'm going to figure it out what it is. And we got this judge so close to saying, bring the jury. It was so close. We were there. He said, bring in the jury. It was close enough for me. Law Nerds, I appreciate you. Don't forget to do the YouTube things on the way out. Like, subscribe, join me at Law Nerd Alert. And with that, y'all, we are wrapped on Paltrow. I will see you in the next one. I need to add my gavel sound. That's what I'm doing between now and the next trial. I am adding
my gavel sound to the soundboard. I think we need a celebratory pickle. We didn't even have time to name the fucking pickle. We were supposed to name the pickle after the Murdaugh trial, and we didn't have time because then the Paltrow trial started, and I wasn't going to cover all of it. And then these attorneys were so wild, we had to... What happened to my white ballot? My camera's trolling me. My camera is trolling me. I just went purple. What is happening? We are clearly done for the day. I have gone completely purple. We are going to pickle our way out of here, and we will name the pickle sometime next week. My camera, I can't believe my camera is trolling me. And do I look as purple to you as I look to me? This is ridiculous. I went so purple. I am being trolled. I am being trolled.
by my own technology.
We have slipped into Willy Wonka, apparently. What in the living Waters, I don't know. It's time to go to bed. I am done. We are done. It's time to go. Good night. Goodbye. Be well. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see you around social media, y'all. Bye.
You can find all the Law Nerd goodies at lawnerdshop.com. Connect with me on social media at the Emily D. Baker. And don't forget to check out my podcasts, The Emily Show, and the new podcast, Quick Bits, summarizing everything I talk about on my Tuesday and Thursday live streams. You know, when you only have time for just the quick bits.